You are listening to Let's Talk Trio on podcasts. Keep up with the latest episodes by downloading the Podbean app or stream episodes via our social media accounts. Search for Let's Talk Trio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. This podcast episode is brought to you by Longsdale Publishing. Is your program seeking ways to assess your students' college readiness? Does your program need a tool to document the effectiveness of your program? Longsdale Publishing is excited to offer the Strategic Learning Assessment, a 20-minute online assessment that provides recommendations and strategies to improve academic performance across 11 learning areas: communication, critical thinking, effective learning strategies, focus and concentration, growth mindset, persistence, seeking help, sense of belonging, stress management, test preparation, and time management. For as little as $3 per student, the Strategic Learning Assessment identifies strengths and areas for growth, along with tailored recommendations for each learning area. Want a complimentary sample account for yourself and 5 students? Contact Longsdale Publishing at 727-389-8026. Again, that number is 727-389-8026. Or visit our website for more information at www.longsdale.com. That website again is www.longsdale.com. Longsdale Publishing, your partner in student success. This episode is sponsored by Student Access. Student Access, the leader in TRIO software. Student Access is an online database solution that allows TRIO programs to track their students' information, connect with students by text messages, streamline the APR, and work from anywhere, all online, with automatic updates for changes from the Department of Education. Their technical support team includes former TRIO staff and has over 50 years of combined experience working with TRIO. Make it easier to focus on your priority, the students. For more information and to request a free demo, visit their website at www.studentaccess.com or call them toll-free at 1-800-801-1232. That website again is www.studentaccess.com or 1-800-801-1232. Be sure to share your favorite episodes on your social media by tapping that share button. This is a great way to support the podcast. Now here's your host, Juan Rivas.
Thank you, Amelia, for that wonderful introduction. It's great to be here with you all, especially because we've entered the month of February. This is Season 7, Episode 30. I am your host, Juan Rivas. Nationwide, this is a huge month for the TRIO programs as they celebrate the impact of TRIO programs everywhere. It's a time to honor TRIO's history and look toward the future, and a big part of that is National TRIO Day. Since celebrations vary by state and region, we want to make sure you don't miss out on the action near you. Before we dive into today's conversation, be sure to check your regional TRIO association's calendar. To make it easy, we've dropped all the relevant links and TRIO Day info right in the show notes below. Here are some community announcements. TRIO Nation, your voice is working. While Congress is moving to protect TRIO funding for 2026, we must remain vigilant. Administrative shifts still threaten the stability of TRIO grants. Take action now by calling your congressional representatives. Thank them for their bipartisan support and urge them to ensure TRIO programs remain fully funded and operational without delay. Let them know TRIO works. North Carolina Central University is hosting their annual Student Access and Success Conference in 2026. Click the link located on the episode description to learn more. In today's episode, we have Catherine Ybarra, a friend of the podcast who is back to share personal life updates, her experience as a seasoned trio professional, and her overall growth. Listen as Catherine shares the challenges and successes she has experienced as the director of a trio upward bound math science program. Coming up in just a bit, Catherine Ybarra. A heartfelt thanks to our individual supporters, Angelica Villalpando, Rosario Riley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Jeff DePuti, Angelica Valdez, Felicia Rivera, Eric Lamaster, Jeff Calden, and Jaded Electronics. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, TrioJoblist.com, Nosotros Education Center, Longsdale Publishing, Student Access, and TheTrioStore.com, powered by Proforma. Visit www.thetriostore.com, your source for trio graduation stoles. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can be a sponsor of the podcast. Head on over to Patreon and search for Let's Talk Trio. Choose one of 4 patron levels. You can support this podcast for as little as $1 a month. If you own a business that serves the trio community and want to sponsor the podcast, we have different sponsorship packages available. Contact us for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast business PayPal account. Our business handle is @Let'sTalkTrio. Your support helps lift trio voices. If you would like to nominate a participant, staff, or alumni to be on the podcast, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. Again, a great episode featuring the director of the Upward Bound Math Science program, Catherine Ybarra, a friend of the podcast and just an awesome human being. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Hi, Trio Nation. My guest on this episode is a friend of the podcast who first appeared a few years ago. She's back to give us updates on the happenings of her trio program and her own personal and professional growth. We welcome back the incomparable Catherine Ybarra. Catherine, so good to see you.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you. It's been a couple years.
It's been a couple of years. Yeah, a lot of life has happened. Things have been just happening all at once, it feels like. And I remember when you first reached out, you said, hey, I really want to do an update episode. Back it was in November. And it's just, life just kind of happened, right? Like we canceled and I was like, oh no, I can't because this is going on. But again, we've been meaning to have you to return. Sounds like a lot has changed since you were last on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's definitely, I'm just in my 3rd year as a director. And when we actually shot the first episode, I was literally, I want to say it was late fall. It was like around October, November. I was only like 3 or 4 months in. So
yeah, no, you were youngin'.
Yeah, time has flown by a lot.
Absolutely. So like you said, you're in your 3rd year, but also a lot of exciting changes for you. Can you tell us about some of those changes?
Yeah, so I'm currently just entered my 3rd year as a director. But before all of that, obviously along the way, I am also currently served as the SENCAL chapter president-elect for our nonprofit organization, which is obviously for those who may be wondering, it is a nonprofit that supports TRIO programs across the nation and really brings a lot of excitement, a lot of cool stuff for staff, professional development, that kind of type of deal. And so that has been going on for several years. And when I started, going back to what we just mentioned, I attended my first SENCAL professional development seminar back in October of 2023, because I started in August. And that I remember I went to it and I thought this was really cool. Obviously, I've gone to several other ones already, but even at that PDS conference, I was already getting told, like, hey, have you ever thought about maybe running for a leader position within the chapter? And I was only 3 months in. And so
Wow.
that's where I was like, you know what, maybe one day, and here I am. I'm currently the chapter president-elect, which I will be for the 26-27 year. I start, I believe, in July. I'm still learning a lot how the chapter works, so there might be things that I might be a little off, but at least from what I've learned so far, that's one of the big changes that has come up. Another thing too, recruitment. We have come a long way with recruitment. When I recently started, I was by myself when
Oh
I
no, I
did the
remember. You
podcast.
had just started. Yeah.
Yeah, I was by myself, so I was managing our entire program, and then later, well, came my specialist and our tutors. So our team is very small, but we're super mighty. It consists of myself as director, my specialist, and two tutors. Well, now three tutors. So definitely have a lot of help. Things have changed, and our recruitment numbers have just skyrocketed. Last year, we were still recruiting up until May before our summer program. Well, this year we were done with recruitment by November. So
Wow.
we have come a long way, and it has just been very great just seeing the improvement, all the changes that we've done here at College of Sequoias. And another thing that has also recently happened that has really helped our trio history be known on campus is we have become more involved with campus events, such as with the Transfer Career Center. Or another way would be with First Generation College Day that actually just passed that in November. And one really cool thing that Trio did for the very first time was we worked with our library here on campus, and they allowed us to give us some space to put up first generation college stories from our own COS staff. So that was something very cool that we had never done, a collaboration there. We've also helped assisted with our first generation day here on campus and a bunch of others, but that's just a really good example because as a trio program, we are first generation low income students. And so that has been some of the ways that we have that has really changed, and more people are getting to know us more. I'm starting to be asked for more requests to join this, to be a part of that. And it feels very nice. And it just goes to show the type of the hard work and the dedication that you put into your program, putting yourself out there, it really makes a difference.
Absolutely, it does. And I've been seeing you post on Instagram on the students that are part of your program and the work that you're doing. Just amazing things overall.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I always try my best to share because people, they need to know, especially the students. At the end of the day, we're here for the students.
Absolutely. Trio has faced a lot of challenges this past year, especially with the defunding of certain programs. It feels kind of arbitrary of what programs got defunded. How has that, if applicable, changed your line of work?
Yeah, I mean, we're living in some very, very difficult times, Juan, as you can tell. I don't think everything that we've witnessed, we didn't expect it coming. And we hope that it gets better, but it just seems that the more the days pass, the more there's just always new things coming out and not really good ones per se. So with all that, not just with the funding of Trio, but just everything that's happening nationwide, it's really helped me to take things more easy and slow. Um, it also has allowed me to celebrate each wins, even the smallest ones, like for a big win, and for some people it might be a small, but to me it was big, like our recruitment number. Just being able to know we're done with recruitment by November compared to last year that we were still recruiting in May before our summer program, which is one of our highest, busiest times of Trio. That to me was a very big win. So I've learned how to celebrate small moments, just anything in general, I think is very important. It's also been that there's also that challenge of being able to be informed. I think with social media, you just tend to see so many things online, and sometimes some of
Mhm.
those things are not even true, and your mind just starts going all over the place, and it can get very heavy. Like there's times
Oh, for
where
sure.
I don't even open my social media because of so much that's going on. It just gets so heavy, and I need to walk away from it. And but
Mm.
at the same time, it's important to be informed, right? So I know social media, it has pros and cons, but when it gets heavy, it gets heavy. So that has been, I think, the one of the biggest challenges. And obviously being able to take it one day at a time. That's one thing that I absolutely have learned, even now being here in my third year as a director, that at the end of the day, my work is still going to be there in my office. It's not going
Mhm.
anywhere, no matter how bad of a day it was. I'm gonna go home, get freshened up, relax, rest, and then come back hopefully better and stronger the next day. So that's one of the things that I've really tried to incorporate on my day to day because let's be honest, we all have different responsibilities, different duties, different jobs, and only we know how what we are facing in our jobs. And I think
Hmm.
sometimes we get so caught up in, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, not enough time, when it's like, you know what? Today already passed. Tomorrow's gonna be a brand new day, whatever that entails. Hopefully, it's good stuff because we can't control what happens, but what we can control is how we respond to that.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Are you seeking guidance to enhance your TRIO project's effectiveness and success? Look no further. Nosotros Education Center, NEC, is here to empower your TRIO project with expert consulting services. NEC's mission is to promote the effectiveness and impact of TRIO programs. Since 2003, NEC has specialized in providing professional development and in-service staff trainings, allowable cost services, for TRIO projects across the country. The team at NEC, with over 60 years of combined TRIO experience, offers customized workshops and seminars for project staff, compliance assessments, external evaluations, working on and submitting APRs, database customization and training, development of policies and procedures manuals, and project implementation or reorganization services. Additionally, NEC has secured over $774 million in federal funding with a 92% success rate through their live and on-demand proposal workshops, assistance with data collection and review, detailed technical reviews, and comprehensive proposal development services. Join the hundreds of colleges, agencies, and TRIO projects across the country who benefited from NEC's expertise. Nosotros Education Center, your partner in TRIO's project success. Visit their website at nosotros.edu.org. Again, that's nosotrosedu.org.
And now, back to the podcast. I want to go back to the answer that you gave regarding being able to walk away from social media. What's some of the things that you do or that help you disengage from social media? Like, what keeps you? What other things keep your attention?
Well, there's a lot of like being out in nature, obviously, playing with my dog. I'm not a big fan of, what how they call it, binge watching. Is that how you
Oh
say
yeah,
it?
binge watching TV. Yeah,
Binge watching
yeah, yeah.
TV. Yeah, I rarely have time, and plus, by the time I get home from work, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. But if I do have the time, I'll, binge watch a series here and there. It just depends, but really spending time with my family at home, just not really trying keeping all type of media devices away from my sight. And whether that's crafting or simply arranging something in my room that I haven't been able to get to,
Yeah.
that helps me to stay away from social media. And it's hard because we're so caught up with our phones. We Before we leave at the start of our day, we need our phone, right? Because of work, and
Absolutely.
that's just the day to day, and it's hard. But when I have to do it, I do it. And when it gets even more heavy, sometimes I will say that I go far and beyond as logging out of my all social media accounts,
Oh
and
wow.
sometimes
Yeah.
deleting the apps. I've done that before, only a couple of times, and it's a really life changer. I will say that. But then you get back into the rhythm of, oh, I want to get back on social media.
Absolutely. I recall your excitement starting your professional career as a director for the TRIO program. Looking back, how has your experiences shaped your current professional growth?
So I've come a long way, and when I remember when I started, I I felt, you know what, I take over this? Am I equipped for this? A lot of the imposter syndrome started coming in, right? Because you started second guessing yourself, like, do I really deserve to be here? And so one of the things that along the way, being able to be a manager, first of all, it's not easy. It comes with a lot of things, a lot of challenges, and sometimes unexpected situations that will come at you. But It definitely has helped me become more aware and think things through, helped me mature as a leader, especially. I've been able to gain more networks. Like that has been very big, and not because of these conferences through our St. Cal chapter, through our West Stop Association. I've met people from all over the state, our different countries, which is very phenomenal.
That's awesome.
A really good example, yes, thank you, that has really helped me grow professionally is because of Trio, it has allowed me to travel to different places that I've never been before. For example, I went to West Stop last year of 2025. It was held in Portland, Oregon. I had never gone to Portland before, which I thought it was really cool. Definitely plan on going back to do more exploring because I've heard that they have really amazing and beautiful waterfalls that I'm again a big fan of nature. And recently, this past October, I took a trip to Kansas City for the very first time as well for the Executive Leadership Institute, which is basically a case study group that you have to complete as a current president-elect of your region, and you get together with different people from different associations or chapters, and you work on a case study that you will be presenting with that group in policy
Oh
seminar,
wow.
which is coming up. So
Yeah.
I went to Kansas for the very first time, and that trip specifically will always mean so much to me. One, it was life-changing, but two, it's because it was the first trip that I was able to take my parents to. And that not many people know that, but I share that because my parents have not gone outside of Mexico other than that and California. So really take my parents with me and for them to explore while I was at work doing, whatever I needed to do, it just really filled me with joy. And yes, let me be clear, because some people that not for non-trail people, they might think, oh, you paid their trip with your funds. No, that was personal funds because that's one of the things that I learned with Trio that often happens with bigger conferences or even when the opportunity presents itself. A lot of professionals, they tend to bring their families along these trips. And now I get that. I was able to do that with my parents for this Kansas City trip, which was phenomenal. Policy seminar, as we know, is coming up. That's will be in Washington, D.C. Very first time that I will be going to Washington. Never been there.
Mm.
Just so many opportunities. And of course, our West Stop conference for 2026 is going to be, other than in Honolulu, Hawaii. And again, it's my very first time that I will ever be going to Hawaii. And I mean, who's not gonna want to go Hawaii? It's gorgeous from what I've
Right?
heard. So because of Trio, I've been able to grow in that sense, being able to really be exposed to different cultures, different languages, different foods, how others they communicate. It's so different. And I know that's just the beginning. I never would have imagined that I would do everything that I've done up to this day.
Right on. In your last episode, you provided great insight and advice to trio professionals. What advice would you add now that you've had this 3-year experience?
There's so much that entails, but I would say one, be careful in not trusting everyone. Your circle is
Mm.
very important, and I say this because even before I became a director, I had other I went through other experiences with other colleagues that things didn't work out, unfortunately. And so when you really get to learn people who they truly are once you realize that what turned out to be what you thought it wasn't. So
Mm.
I think trust is very important at the end of the day. I'm a very big person on that, especially more as a director now. I become very observant. I mean, as a manager, I have to constantly be observing my team because I want them to grow. I always try my best to give my team feedback or bring outside training or professionals even within our campus to us to Trio so we can
Hmm.
all be on the same page and just grow from each other and learn and how can we improve our services as time goes by. Another advice that I would share is walk away if something is not doing well for you. This has been very big. I personally am the type that if I come across a situation that hit me very hard because we're all human, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I know it's not serving me well, if I am mentally checked out, I have to leave the area. Why? Because number one, there's other people near me. I don't want to go off at them or say something that I'm going to regret later. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen many cases happen, and that's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Mm-hmm.
other people's fault. The reason why the situation occurred how it occurred. So I've learned that as a manager, especially, I have to always be the one of, holding the fort for all of us to ensure we're all in compliance and we're doing what we're supposed to. So and I'm very good at this. If I don't feel like I'm 100% in it, because we all have those days, those moments, right? I'd rather not even come in because I'm just going to waste my time when I can
Mm-hmm.
be using it effectively to get my job done. So I've been very big on that, responding professionally, obviously. That is also another very important thing that I would also encourage or give advice on, because the way how you say things, it really, really matters.
It
I had
does,
to,
yeah.
and I've had to learn that the hard way, unfortunately, but I've learned it through time. And the last thing that I would say, and I really want to touch on this, is do not confuse power of authority and don't abuse it. So what do I mean by this? As when I became a director, you would think that everyone in your circle at the time was proud of you, right? Well, I've lost people because they, I thought they weren't in my support circle when in reality they weren't really there to cheer me on when I needed them the most. So
Mm-hmm.
at one point you have to make that decision, right? Do I want to continue staying with here where I need the support, or would I rather be somewhere else that I'm going to find it, through new networks or whatever the case is. So I've lost people on the way because they assumed, oh, Catherine, she became a director, now she thinks she's all that. That's really
Mm-hmm.
not the case. And let me, kind of unpack that a little bit. Yes, I always tell people, when whatever job you have, own it. And when people say you think you're all that, I don't think that I'm all that, but like how in the Spanish saying goes, like, te crees chingona? Yes, absolutely, and here's why. Because I worked very hard to get where I'm at. I worked hard, through a pandemic. I went back to graduate school, even trying to make the decision of when to go to school, what to get in, the sleepless nights. Going to school while at the same time having a full-time job was not easy. All of that led to where I'm at today. So of course I'm gonna feel like a chingona, but not because I think that I'm better than you. It's because I earned it. That's how the way I view my position as a manager. And so I always, when I see younger professionals, because I was once there, and I mean I still consider myself young, but what I'm talking about, like my early 20s, or when I got my first full-time job, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking to these younger professionals than me, I see myself in them because that's where I started. And especially when
Mm-hmm.
I talk to our students, I see myself in them because I was once a student. Heck, I'm still a student because I'm still learning. We learn something every single day, whether that's in our jobs or outside of our jobs. So
Right.
there's one, I'm, there's this song, I listen to a lot of Spanish music. And there's this group, Los Dos Tamaulipas, and there's this song that that goes, Se oye varias lenguas que se me subió solo porque cargo lo que antes no. No, señores, se equivocan. A mí no se me subió, simplemente me cambió la vida por mejorar. So I butchered the last part, but basically what that beginning of the song said is that there's a lot of talk saying that I I think that I'm better than anybody else, but that's not the case. Just because I have what I have now, I didn't have it back then. That's untrue, because yes, my life changed, but it changed for the better because I chose it that way, and it's because of my hard
Mm-hmm.
work, not because I think that I'm better than anybody else. It's because I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of leaders unfortunately go that route, where the moment that they make that next step on the ladder, they ignore or they start seeing the others below them that they're less than them. Like, oh, you're just a specialist or you're just a tutor. No, I tell our tutors here, I don't care who tells you that you're not an employee. You are an employee because you're working a
Mhm.
job here on campus. And to
Mhm.
me, in my eyes, you are part of the COS staff team, no matter what. And especially students going to school while they're working, we need to take care of them more than anything because the life of a student is very rough, especially if you're still trying to hang in there. So, uh, yeah, I think that if throughout all of these advices or bullet points that I just mentioned, but this last one of the power of authority, I think is a big one, especially for those that are future, if you really want, if you ever want to be a director or a dean or a president of a college or whatever that looks to you, any type of management position, I always tell people don't don't abuse your power of authority. Don't, you're
Absolutely.
just a human being like anybody else. You have a heart, Juan, I have a heart, you know, we're all the same. We just have different ambitions, we have different views, different visions. That's really all what it is. My director title is just a title, but that's not who I am entirely. That's just a
Hmm.
title. So, and
Hmm.
yes, I'm very blessed and I'm grateful to be here, but I would say that it's very important for you as a manager to know how to use that power.
Absolutely. And we'll include the link of the song. And if you could give me the title, I'll include the link in the song as well, so our listeners can listen to the song.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
how do you navigate a challenging obstacle facing your program?
So when I recently started as a director, I had another dean at the time. She moved on up for a higher position. Very, very proud of her. And when we started having our check-ins before she left, there was always this one thing she always talked about and ended our meeting with. She said, Catherine, every time when you come across a situation or a very tough challenge, remember, envision it, study it, but at the end of the day, it's for the students. Revolve it, bring it back to the students because that's what we do in Trio. So that really stood to me, and obstacles always come and go, right? But as a director, I have to think what is the benefit, what's gonna benefit our entire program. That includes our students, that includes our staff. So I really brainstorm a lot. I'm a very big visual learner, so if I see things in front of me, I would understand it 10 times more versus you just saying it or in a text.
Yeah.
I have to have
Yeah.
pictures. That's just how the way I work. So a good example is we moved offices here on campus about 2 years ago, and I requested to have these whiteboards in our office. And so in these whiteboards, we have all of our schools that we serve and all of our students, per school. So it tells us how many students we have. So in case if we're short, I can see it, and then it helps me to put a name to a face because,
Mhm.
as directors, we're not always out there a lot on the field compared to our staff. So it helps me to know, okay, we're good with recruitment. And so I actually had a former director that she shared that with me when I recently started. She said, Catherine, what you need is you need to have your entire list or even just brainstorm bullet points, just go crazy in a whiteboard and write down all of your ideas because that is going to help you envision what you need to do and the next steps. And that has been very life-changing. So it's really putting it on paper and on a vision or really in front of me so that I can fully know, okay, how we're going to approach it, what are going to be the steps, and also documenting it more than anything, having those cheat sheets. I'm very big before I became a director in my last former job, before I left to be where I'm at here, I left an entire cheat sheet or recordings and folders all organized of the duties of my jobs. So when the next person would come on board, they knew at least where to pick off of, where were things that they can change, that they couldn't. I mean,
Mhm.
just having something to follow has been very, very, very helpful for me. And I've done it here with my staff. I always like to think ahead of the game and say, look, if in the case if you are out, you're sick, or I'm out, or who knows, if you get a job or I get a new job, right? Because new opportunities are opening all the time. I want to leave the next person with something to follow. That way they at least know, okay, this is where we're currently at. Moving forward, you're welcome to do whatever changes you want, whatever you think is, is best for the program and case closed. So I'm very big on that. That has really helped me personally to navigate any type of obstacles here. But does it get any easier? No. Sometimes the obstacles are very small versus others that take a much more time to get through.
Absolutely. You've seen your first group of students graduate. How does that make you feel seeing students go on to college?
That has been one of the coolest, most enjoyable things to see students, how much they grow. When I started, I accepted students that are now juniors that are about to be seniors in a couple of months, which is crazy.
Yes.
And it's just, and even seeing the way how their bodies change, how puberty hits, I mean, it makes a very big difference in a year.
It does.
I had students that were so short and now they're like super tall. And it's phenomenal to see the growth, but not just that, but just seeing that the way how they interact. Some of them were super shy and now they're so outspoken. We've even had to tell some of the students, hey, you need to keep your noise level down because we need to stay focused. So they've come a long way. I'm just super proud. We host a senior banquet, like a graduation, every May. And so
Mhm.
that's actually coming up this year. It's going to be in late April. We have a really small cohort this year, and so we that's one of our most favorite times. That's one of my most favorite times, graduation time, because you get to see your students walk down the aisle to that diploma, and we wish them the best, and we did our part to enroll or help them enroll in college, and now we have to
Mhm.
let them fly.
Mhm.
So, um, it's also another good thing that, for them graduating from our program, they leave a legacy for others to follow, for our future scholars, trail scholars, and so now we have like right now we may have like a a whole entire family or even like brothers and sisters follow that path. We actually currently right now we have four siblings in our program where it started with the brothers and the brothers told their sister was like, you know what, I want to become part of trio. Now the sisters in trio and lastly their younger sibling which has recently became part of trio as well. So that's
Wow.
a family of four that we
That's a
have.
legacy. Yeah.
That is the
Wow.
legacy. So things like that, even other brothers and sisters or cousins to or friends that they interact each other and they tell, yeah, this is what we're doing in trio. It just makes me feel proud because now they're spreading the word, and that's something that we struggle with when I recently started. And
Mhm.
at times, I always, at the end of the day, I feel like sometimes I'm their mom. Like I feel like a mom, and I've
Yeah.
told them before,
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
I'm your trio mom here. I need to be on check with you guys. But in all sincerity, actually, trio has really helped me. Being a director now from this lens point has really helped me to know to learn and see the type of parent that I want to be one day. That because I do plan
Mm. Oh, that's interesting.
on having kids eventually down the line in the couple years, and so it has been very rewarding because now I see how every student is different, every
Hmm.
parent is different.
Hmm.
So that has been a really, it's just been very nice and amazing to see our students grow. But it's also very hard to let them go because you got so, so close. And we have a student, for instance, right now that when I started, she was there. She was super quiet, very quiet. It really, I struggle with asking her questions, and now she's one of the loudest students. She's currently going to medical school. She wants to apply to
Oh,
go to
right
medical
on.
school. Yeah, she wants to be a doctor. So that is huge. When I hear stories like that, it lets me know, yeah, we're doing our good job to really inspire students to seek that path.
Absolutely. You've also experienced a lot of personal growth. Can you talk about the things that have changed in your life?
Yes. So I did when people told me you're going to it's going to be a lot of work to be a director, it absolutely is, but it has completely done a whole 360 change for me. I have become more because of the same reason of just having that vision of supervising leading a team. I've learned how to become, more reserved. And that goes back
Mm-hmm.
to the part what I said too. You have to be very careful with trusting people. I've been, like I said, I've been very reserved. I've been extra careful, always looking out for my safety, my surroundings. I say that in the most honest and simplest way. Like things such as, for instance, in our program, we have to transport kids. So we have to pick them up from the high school and drop them back to get them here on campus. But there's a whole, the buses situation is not easy for us to have them pick up and drop off. So we as staff, we have to pick them up. And so some of the things that goes along the way of safety, for instance, right now here in California or here in the Central Valley, the weather is not the best. So there's a lot of fog. There's actually recently been a lot of fog. So small things like if we have to come in more later for a Saturday academy or pick up students or for us staff to leave campus more earlier to get there safe, those are the type of precautions that I take now. Even in my personal life, there's times where I leave the office pretty late and I make sure that I check my surroundings. And not many people would probably consider that to being
Mm-hmm.
a way of personal growth, but to me it is because I've been more careful with how I do things, how I make decisions that can not only impact me or my family. I mean, as a director, there's times, I've always, at the end of the day, I have the final say in a decision. That was something very hard that I had to really learn and accept because when at the beginning, I caught myself waiting to move on to make that final decision happen. When I caught myself and I said, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm the director, but I was never accustomed to do that because in my former job, I had to wait I had to get approval through my supervisor to move on to make that final decision happen. And now in here in True as a director, yes, I have my higher ups which have been really great support, and sometimes I go to them for some other situations that I may not be quite comfortable with or I may not know of really well, so I need a little bit more guidance. But when it comes to our trio program, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that knows them more. Our staff, knows them more what our needs are. I have the final decision. So being able to learn what does that mean in my personal life has been very crucial. Definitely been able to mature and manage my own time as well. It has been super life-changing to know that as a manager, I can be flexible with my time. Like if I have an early meeting tomorrow, I know I can take off more earlier today to get more of that rest because my drive is quite a drive. I drive 50 minutes. It's my commute, close to an
Mm-hmm.
hour. So
Mm-hmm.
right now with fog season, I'm coming in a little bit more later because sometimes fog is so thick and I can't see to drive and it's dangerous, especially more earlier in the hours. So things like that I've learned how to manage and you just learn day to day. But yeah, my personal growth, even my family have told me all the time, you look so different. Family that I've never seen before in a long time. You look so different. You're more mature. You seem more responsible. And a lot of that comes because of my director job. Thanks to that,
Wow.
I'm more focused in those areas.
That's awesome. So how do you balance work and your personal life?
I first take care of myself. And that's pretty much, it's easier said than done, like the saying goes, right? But I really like to really take care of myself, responding to messages after deadlines, respect that goes along with respecting those boundaries. So I in the true world, those of us who I'm sure everyone knows, we often tend to sometimes respond to emails or text messages after hours, after the right at the 5 hour clock time, right?
Right.
And I always tell myself, if it's not an emergency, if I'm not needed, if I'm not getting requested, I'm not responding until tomorrow because outside of Trio, I also have a life and I have a reason to have a
Absolutely.
life. So
Absolutely.
that has been at the beginning, it was a little bit tough and I would get told by a couple of individuals, well, you have well, you're gonna have to be checking your email late at night or be up and I mean, at the time I didn't want to believe. I thought, man, that's gonna be my life. And as I moved forward, I realized that's really not the case. If those colleagues, if it worked for them to be late at night responding, by all means, kudos to them. But that doesn't work for me. And that's one thing too that I really advise, and that should have been part of that other last question that you asked, but that is also a really good piece of advice that whatever I'm sharing in this podcast, or even when I shared it at the first episode, I always tell people, even when I do presentations or meetings, I tell them what I'm about to share is what has worked for me. Take it if it works for you, but if it doesn't, leave it. Do what works best for you, because at the end of the day, I do not want you coming at me or you blaming me for something that you did that didn't work for you,
Oh, for
because
sure.
that wasn't for you. This is just me. So being able to really respect those boundaries, that has been helpful for me, very, very life-changing. And leaving everything at the office. I know what I mean by that is whatever type of work or documents or even devices, I'd rather leave it at the office. If I know I'm going to be on sites or on the go, of course, I'll take, for example, my tablet or my laptop. But if I don't need it, if I know I'm not going to work for the rest of the day, because there will be times, even with our chapter, that, excuse me, that I might need to work or check some emails, and that I've learned, okay, I'm in this. This is required. Okay, I'm gonna do it. It's temporary. It's not gonna be something that I'm gonna have to do every single day for the rest of my director life. It's just going to be temporary. So I've learned how to also train my mind like this is just for today, Catherine, for tonight, but tomorrow you can go back and relax. So I'm very big on if it's not urgent, if there's no fires that I have to pull out, I'll just leave everything in the office, and then tomorrow will be a new day.
Awesome. The life of a director can be hard. Catherine, has there been a time where you almost lost yourself because of the power you hold, or have you ever felt that at all?
No, that, and I'm very grateful, all because of first of all, because of my faith, my God, mi Dios. I am very, and I'm not a perfect person with faith. I just really want to make that clear. Everyone has their different what faith is or spirituality, whatever that case is. To me, my
Sure.
faith has been really big. My familia from Mexico has been a very big support. Traveling to Mexico every winter break has been life-changing. I actually just recently came back from vacation from
Oh, right
visiting
on.
Mexico. So every year, then that's the only year or the only time out of the year that I get I get to visit my familia, and just being over there, different food, a different environment, the Rancho Life Ranch, it helps me to remember where I come from. That yes, I'm a director, but again, it goes back to that power of authority. I'm not better than anyone else. I'm just me working, doing what's best for students, being the best leader to my team, and case closed. So that has been that has really helped me, not forget, not let the power get the best of me. My partner, my boyfriend as well, has been a very big support. The days, the bad days, good days, it just feels so nice to go to get out of work and have someone there to just vent all you want to them, and even just simply them hearing you out, it makes a very big difference, because sometimes we just want to be heard, right? We just need someone to validate our feelings, to let us know, you know what, it's fine. You have the right to feel what you're feeling, but tomorrow's going to be a better day. Items that I have in my office remind me of who I am. I have a lot of, obviously you can't see, but have a lot of pictures like in the background. I have a big bulletin board of all of my pictures of my students, conferences that I've attended, even quotes. What I've done is I've actually cut out quotes of personal text messages that I received from directors in my last 3 years, and I posted them on this wall. So every time when I'm having a bad moment or something happened, I look to that, and it reminds me you're gonna be okay, Catherine. And those have been life-changing. And it's not a lot of messages, it's just specific messages from specific people that have made a big difference. So that has been very big. Also, I have gotten other quotes, or I've developed other quotes through just listening to podcasts, or even my familia from Mexico, my aunts that have shared so much knowledge, and I've taken what they've said and I put it into a quote. And again, it's in my wall. So things like that, or even just license plate of Michoacan, because that's where I'm from. And so having that, it reminds me, oh, that's who I am. This is where I come from. So it is very life-changing. I'm a big person of environment equals energy. So anything that you have surrounding your office or in your office will make a difference on how you feel every day when you show
Hmm.
up.
Hmm.
Constantly practicing my Spanish language. So I have actually come along. I've come a long way. I've done this much more now, like during meetings, or whether that's Zoom or in person, like saying starting with buenas tardes or buenos días in both languages. That goes a long way because one, it shows that you're bilingual. Two, that you identify yourself as Hispanic. And three, you never know when someone in that room might be lost. And if you use your bilingual language, that goes a long way. You'll have someone that might approach you and they might feel like, I can resonate with Catherine. I can go to Catherine. So, and also to, if anyone that in the room that doesn't speak English, that needs help in Spanish, well, that's why I also tend to use a lot of Spanish words on my day to day, and it has made a big difference, let me tell you. And of course, like I said, I am no different. It goes back to what you said about the question that of the power that I hold. Has it changed me? No, because again, all of these things that I just mentioned has really helped me. A really good example that I thought was very funny, not funny, but just very interesting is before I got my team on board, I was at a recruitment event at one of our school sites, and we were tabling, trying to recruit students, and I think it was this intern or student worker at the time. I don't know who he was. He walks up to the table, he presents himself, and he was asking about trio, this and that, and I was explaining to him. And then he's already walking away from the table. And that's when he said, "Oh, by the way, what's your name? Who you are?" And when I said, "Oh, I'm Catherine Ybarra," when the moment when I said, "Juan, oh, I'm the director," he turned his whole body, just shifted.
Hmm.
It's like he saw a ghost. And I thought that was very interesting. And it goes back to the power situation because, and I'm pretty sure because he saw that he didn't think I was a director, because I've been told so many times I look more younger. I look young to be a director. I still get that to this day. And so he wasn't expecting that. So when I told him that, it's like his complete body changed. And I just wish that that was like that for everybody, not just because I'm a manager, director. I wish it was that for, you should give every person the same right, the same respect, or the same interest, or formal way to present yourself when you're speaking to people. Because I've seen that again happen. And so, and recently it happened again, last fall, where I entered, I was going to meet with another coordinator from a different department. And I walked up, and even before I presented my stuff, I started asking questions about, what was the program all about. And then when I formally introduced myself, she told me straight up, she said, "Wow, I never met a young director like you. I honestly thought you were a student coming in to ask us questions." And I said,
Oh
"No,
wow.
I'm like, yeah, this is who I am." And so it just goes to show, like I said, sometimes our our age or how we look like might not people might not believe that we are in that position, but we are. So it's just that those are just some of the things that have really helped me stay true to myself. And every day it's like the moment I walk in, and just even talking to my family, making those calls to my grandmother in Mexico, seeing how she is, it helps me a lot to know, you know what, I can have the baddest day, can be the baddest time right now, but I'm gonna be okay.
Absolutely. Did you ever see yourself being here today, like being in this moment, in this professional life of yours? And what has been rewarding to you ever since you became a director?
I never would have thought that I would be a director ever. And the reason why is because I honestly felt I honestly feel like I was going to be maybe some type of coordinator at some point, but not make a really big jump to the director. I think I may have shared this on the first episode, but it was very interesting how my journey to be a director happened because I had come to COS to apply before the director position. I came to apply for my specialist position because I was trying to find something new. And at that
Hmm.
time, and my understanding for so long was, oh, if you want to be the director, the manager, you have to start from the bottom and build your way up because that's just
Hmm.
how it's always been, how life has taught you. At least that's what life taught me. So when I applied for the specialist position, I didn't get it. And so I said, well, it wasn't meant to be, whatever. And when I started reapplying again for jobs, I didn't think I would be a director because I was getting I was getting declines from coordinator positions. And I thought, well, if I'm getting no's from a coordinator position, what makes me think I'm gonna get a director position? Because I applied to be a director literally the last day before, like the last day of when it closed. Again, I don't recommend it, but I applied the last day because I thought it was too good to be true. I'm like, there's no way. I would had a, gone through other coordinator positions and even other type of manager positions, and I thought I'm not going to get it. So the fact that COS gave me the opportunity, that they saw something in me, I will forever always be blessed. Whether I'm here 5, 6 years, 3, 4 years, whatever the case is, it has really changed my life with everything that I have just shared here with you, Juan. So. It has honestly been very rewarding. The growth aspect, I would say, has been what I've enjoyed the most as a director. Seeing how I grow from day one to now, from year one to now. I thought when I started by myself, I just felt like I'm not going to make it. How I want to make things work, and it was the peak of APR. Let me mind you, I had no knowledge about APR. I just submitted my third APR and with no errors that I'm so proud of. I mean, that just goes to show.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very proud of that APR season. Gosh, we really love that season. And so I've just come a long way and just seeing how the person that I've become. And each day is another, I would like to share or explain or describe my growth as a plant because I'm a very big fan of plants or gardening. So it's each day is another root that is sprouting, and I water it every single day. That's how I always like to envision my role as a director. Being able to help my family, that has been very big. My family is so proud of me. My dad, every once in a while, he'll always say, "Oh, well, you're the director. I mean, you can't come home earlier if you want to." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it just depends on what's going on. Sometimes I have errands to run." And I've learned that that's totally fine because as directors, you really get to manage your time. You know what's your workload, and so that has been like I mentioned, very very nice. But yeah, helping my family out, whether financially more than anything, has been big. And I know my parents are very very fortunate and blessed, and because of that, we've been able to do more work at the house. I've been able to help them out to construct our house in Mexico, which is something that we didn't think would happen, and gracias a Dios, um thanks to God that we have a house, our two-story house, because I always wanted a two-story house growing up, and my parents, made my dream come true. And I'm very blessed to that I had a part in that because of my job as a director, being able to save and plan for my future. I'm very big on saving. And because I like thinking ahead of as far as whether that's getting a new car or a new house, because things are super expensive nowadays.
It
So
is, yeah.
I'm very big. And when I started after my first year as a director, I was able to afford my first ever in my life new vehicle. So
Hmm.
that was a big goal for me. Now I probably own two cars. I just bought myself another car a couple months ago, and it's and I share that because, again, it's not about, oh, I have so much more money and I have these luxuries. It's about the hard work, the patience, that the journey that it got me to be where I'm at today. That to me goes more than beyond than just having all the money because you will get that a lot. I've gotten that a lot, even from family members, colleagues, like, oh, you must be making that bank, Catherine. And well, I mean, I can't complain, but it goes more beyond that. And so
Yeah.
being able to feel I finally did it. I have my master's, and thanks to my master's, I have my director job, and thanks to my director job, I'm able to help my family, give myself these luxuries that I feel that I deserve because I worked so hard to get where I'm at today has been very rewarding. And of course, like I mentioned, seeing just my parents really enjoy it. They were able to see me. They've seen me at a couple of our events, when I share it. And just the work when I talk about what I'm doing, their eyes just lit up, and I know that they're very proud. And my family from Mexico, every year since then, they've told me all the time, Catherine, mija, échale ganas. You're off to do a lot of amazing things.
That's wonderful. Catherine, how do you protect your peace despite all the noise that is happening in the world today?
Gardening would be the top one.
Yeah?
I've always been a fan of nature, but I recently, well, it's been almost 4 years since I got into gardening, and for all of this, I have to thank my boyfriend, my partner for this because there were things that I didn't think I would ever pick up, that I would ever learn, and thanks to him, he is what really inspired it all. He inspired me to learn new things that I didn't know before. The gardening stuff is, and I'm not just talking about plants. I'm talking about the whole
Yeah.
planting veggies. I mean, the whole, just all of it. And even knowing from like, how do you know your roots are rotting down there to when is the time to transplant? I've come a long way with that. And again, that helps me to really calm my peace. I have plants here in the office. I'm the one that, has all the plants here in our office, in my internal office here, and it just brings everything more to life, especially when you're dealing with so much in today's world. So that's where I like to really disconnect, go to gardening. I mean, you bet that I take trips to Lowe's. I go to Lowe's a lot, Lowe's and Home Depot a lot. I didn't used to, and I do now. And I go first to the garden area, and sometimes just walking around, it really calms my peace a lot. It protects my peace more than anything. Reading when I can. I used to read a lot, but I haven't had the chance. I really need to get back on the grind. The last book I read was The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, which it's a very fantastic book that I recommend. It's because it talks about the power of letting people go, like not worrying about what others think, because everyone has their opinions. They have things to say. Like you letting them because of you, not because of them, but because of you to be more at peace with yourself, to be more happy with yourself. So I highly encourage that book for anybody that's wanting to learn more about that. Exercise, again, I need to get back on the grind. When it's winter season, it's so hard. It's so hard to go out there, but
It's the
just doing
permissive season. You're able to eat more.
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it's like you start gaining those pounds, and yeah, it doesn't go well, unfortunately. So yeah, I still have yet to get to that, but I'm starting slow with walking, doing my walks again. Listening to podcasts, I'm very big fan of that. To the Mel Robbins show and the Trent Shelton show. That's two podcasts that I would highly recommend. Very, very amazing work. But I also listen to a radio show, and this is not really common nowadays because I feel like not many people listen to radios anymore. But I listen to the show Don Cheto al Aire. For those who know, oh, you know what I'm talking about. But it's basically just comedy, but it's also they talk about real life things happening. It really keeps my mind away from the reality, and it just makes me have some good laughs. I love that show, and that show has really changed my life. And I actually started hearing that show when I started as a director. I was exploring new things, and then some of my family members were already fans of that show, and they just got me into it. So that's like my my return back home, or on the way when I'm coming to work in the mornings. It's very nice, it's super therapeutic to me. Crafting, I've recently gotten into like crafting wood projects. I create pictures out of wood.
Ooh,
Really
interesting.
yeah, and I really developed a hobby, and to me, it's a hobby of sanding, like with actual sanders, like sanding wood. It's so therapeutic. I just don't know. There's just something about feeling the wood soft, knowing that it's just the texture so nice and fit how you envisioned it. I mean, I don't know, call it weird, but that has
Hey,
really,
it's your thing.
yeah, that has helped me really stay super relaxed. And of course, making gifts for the people that I love. And my gifts like are made like they're handmade. And
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah.
I really take my time doing them just because I like showing appreciation to those people that have been there for me, it because that shows a lot about your character and who you are. And then you never know when you'll need of those people. Sometimes the more you give, the more you receive. And that's also another thing that I've been very careful with. Not everyone deserves your
Mm.
time,
Oh, good.
deserves to
Yeah.
hear your story. Because again, it goes back to that saying of some people don't want to see you succeed. And that's a reality. And it's sad to say, but it's true because I've witnessed it several times. So I've learned how to separate that. But
Mm.
I
Hmm.
enjoy doing gifts. And the last thing, just some of the main things that has served me, fishing. I've developed a new hobby of fishing. And going back, and that all because my boyfriend again, we go fishing together. We're not pros at it. At least I'm not the best, but you know what's so relaxing. I've seen so growing up, I always saw because I we and for us to come to the big city because I live more rural outside. We always pass a canal, and I would always see growing up when we passed by people fishing. I thought, how is that fun? Just sitting there waiting for
Hmm.
to catch a fish, but it's actually really fun. Just the journey of just being there in nature, hearing the
Hmm.
water, is just the breeze of the wind is just so relaxing. So
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed fishing, which again something that I never thought would have picked up. But like they say, when you meet that person, it changes your life completely.
Absolutely. Catherine, we're at the very end of this podcast. Is there any words of wisdom, a quote you would like to share with the audience, or yeah, any last things, any parting thoughts you would like to share?
Like I always tell my students, cuídense, ámanse, behave, and as always, remember that we are a true familia. So take care of yourselves, always behave, no matter your age, and remember that we are together a true familia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much, Juan.
Are you a participant, alum, or staff of a TRIO program? Do you want your program highlighted? You or your program could be featured in an upcoming episode of Let's Talk TRIO. Get a hold of us by going to our Facebook page or Instagram and send us a direct message. Search for Let's Talk TRIO. We want to get your story to the public.
You just heard from our guest, Catherine Ybarra, Director of the TRIO Upward Bound Math and Science Program at the College of the Sequoias, and President-elect of SENCAL. Thank you, Catherine, for being on the podcast and providing your updates. Remember, if you would like to be on the Let's Talk TRIO podcast or know a staff, advocate, participant, or alumni, send us an email at letstalktrio@gmail.com. That email again is letstalktrio@gmail.com. A heartfelt thanks to our individual supporters, Angelica Villalpando, Dr. Jamie Motley, Dr. Ryan Barone, Dr. Jeff Naputi, Angelica Valdez, Rosario Riley, Felicia Rivera, Eric Lemaster, Jeff Calden, and Jaded Electronics. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, TrioJoblist.com, Nosotros Education Center, Longsdale Publishing, Student Access, and the TRIO Store, powered by Proforma. Visit www.thetriostore.com, your source for TRIO graduation stoles. Thank you all so much for your continued support of this podcast. You too can be a sponsor of the Let's Talk TRIO podcast in one of three ways. Become a monthly patron on Patreon. Our base level starts at $1 a month. Become a corporate sponsor by placing an ad on the podcast. Contact us for details. Become a supporter with a one-time donation to the podcast business PayPal account. Our business handle is @Let's Talk Trio. I'd like to take a moment to thank our honorary members of the Let's Talk Trio podcast, Roderick Chambers, Tony Ho, Scott Kendall, and Susan Cramp. The Let's Talk Trio podcast team is John Russell, audio engineer, music producer and composer, and post-production editor. Amelia Castañeda, script supervisor, marketing manager, social media manager, and producer. Juan Rivas, executive producer and host. Be sure to follow the Let's Talk Trio podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This episode was recorded on Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. Thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.